It's sort of an interesting spot because you have the weeds out in back of us, and then you have harder bottom that transitions into the boulders on the shoreline in here. But you can really see it good on the side imagery.
You know, the flat we're on here, we've got probably almost a quarter of a mile of water that these smallmouths are coming on, major spawning areas, but there's a lot of fish coming up here now. And as I'm fishing down this thing, we're looking at about 2-foot changes. And sometimes it'll break way out like this in about 4 or 5 foot of water, way out with scattered rocks on it, and I'll grab that grub and throw that grub across it. And then it'll dip in a little bit, and you only got a 2-foot roll, but it'll turn back into a pocket and get a little more vertical against the walls. And I'm getting those little pockets, and I'm grabbing the tube and getting bit on the tube and slowing down a little bit. That seems to be working right now pretty good.
You know, anytime you go out on the water, you have to realize the fish that you're fishing for are making seasonal movements, and it's a constant evolving basis when you're on the water. Right now, we're actually set up in a spot where the fish are coming to. You understand what I mean? So they're, you know, in the next couple of days, you know, if we're blessed with weather like this, if you would come across a spot, you would absolutely be dumbfounded on how many smallmouth bass are going to be on this 4-block little area in here. There'll be literally hundreds of smallmouth bass will move up. The entire lake will move up onto these shelves. You know, one thing about smallmouth bass is we were saying that you got to be versatile to catch these fish. You know, throughout the summer, you know, the fish really can rove a lot, and you have to be pretty versatile to catch these fish, you know, with various techniques and locationally. The thing is, once again in fall, once that water temperature drops into like the high 40-degree range, they start gathering in very, very distinct wintering locations. At that point in time, their strike zone really changes. It really gets small, where hair jigging, roller jigging, drop shotting really become the preferred presentation strategies, and the fish have a very, very small strike zone. You have to put the bait within, you know, a foot or two of them to ultimately to trigger strikes.
Oh, way up.
Another one?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, coming up. Ooh, a big black one, Jim. Big blackie. Ooh.
Wow. Pretty one.
Yeah. Big black one.
Was that on the grub or the tube?
No, that was on the grub. So I was on this big flat area.
Seems like they're sort of preferring that. Grub seems like that's a pretty good way to go here.
Yeah, the grub's been working pretty good, boy. Beat up, like coming in out of those deep water wintering holes. Huh? You know, the key to catching these smallmouth, you know, you think spring smallmouth fishing should just load the boat all the time, and it can be fantastic. There's days if you're watching your weather, water conditions, you're keeping an open mind, you know a little bit about the mood of the fish, pay attention to the strike zones. You should almost always have a good day. Even when fronts come in the spring, there's still some fish to be had, but boy, these fish can be, on some days, weird. They're in, out, they're up, down, and their moods are changing like this. You've got to be adjusting constantly. But when you get it right, you can catch fish like this fairly consistent for a long, long period of time.